since we're on the topic of Konohamaru, real quick, hypothetically, if Konohamaru does lose this, let's say he stays alive, they finish off this battle, maybe Konohamaru plays a part in an actual finish and finality of them essentially defeating Ryu. Let's say hypothetically, all this is finished. Do you see Konohamaru having a legitimate one-on-one battle where he actually wins in TBV?
After all of this, like that's going on currently?
Yeah, maybe even after this arc. Maybe he fights a character like an Otsuki member or something like that, and then he ends up getting a one-up, and that's super important to the actual plot, where that could potentially be like a big W for Konohamaru. Do you see that happening, or do you think the character is just done with at this point? Like fighting wise, I should say fighting wise. I think plot wise, he'll probably always be relevant.
Really
but fighting wise,
I'm gonna reach for it. I'm gonna reach. If he can't, I think the one-on-one moment should be right now versus Matsuri, but that's not gonna be it. Because of all of the subtle hints they already had in previous chapters, they're going to jump Matsuri after they're done jumping Ryu. That's the only way to beat the Shinju. They're going to have to jump him. But it's hard, man, to even fathom another perfect opponent to where Konohamaru can, like, 1v1 show his merit against, as opposed to literally the evil incarnation of his possible future love interest in the series. Like, what other perfect one-on-one opponent than right now versus Matsuri? And we're seeing how they handle an opportunity right now that's so centered and so focused on Konohamaru. So even getting a major fight that's even important to the series, I doubt it, bro. I can't see it. It depends on how things play out right now. So I would just say like let's just say hypothetically he wins against Matsuri without any help. He surprises us with like another Rasengan barrier jutsu or 3 giant Rasengans or something like that. Because that double Rasengan, that double giant Rasengan, I ain't gonna lie,
that was cold.
It was cold. It caught me off guard. I was like, okay. But let's say he pulls something off and he wins the fight against Matsuri, right? In that scenario, I can see them possibly giving Konohamaru another future 1v1 fight to where he can, handle his own. But that's only if he's able to be the sole reason why Matsuri is defeated. And everybody within the verse and outside the verse can acknowledge that. Because it can be like people or the other ninjas be like, oh, Matsuri's defeated, but, she got jumped with the rest of the people that came after they defeated Ryu. And they're like, okay, Konohamaru, they try to be like, oh, he was able to hold his own against one of these monsters for so long. Like, I don't want that type of accomplishment for him, I want him to be like, yeah, Konohamaru defeated so-and-so. And then, Sarada and the others, defeated so-and-so, showing the difference. Like, okay, Konohamaru can handle his own. So maybe, maybe. But realistically speaking, I doubt it. That's why I said I'm going to reach for it. But yeah, realistically, nah, I don't see it.
This just popped in my head. Do you see a possibility of Konohamaru fighting against Kawaki? Because in his mind, they should be rivals, right?
Konohamaru and Kawaki?
Yeah. Yeah, let's not even call it like a serious battle.
Why would they be rivals?
It's just you said say that last part again.
Yeah, hypothetically, even if it's not really like a serious battle, do you think they'll ever like interact in like a sparring manner?
Okay, so Konohamaru under Omnipotence probably would have tried.
Under Omnipotence?
Yeah, under Omnipotence, this current Konohamaru, he probably would have tried.
Oh, my bad. I thought
back in the day, he probably would have noticed something different, like where he would see like shadow clones. Now he just shrinking out of existence. Like, okay, this is it feels new.
It's just crazy. Like, I don't think we ever seen a scene with them two together, and that's supposed to be like his.
And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't like with Konohamaru, I generally don't care. Like, they can do something great for the character, I probably still wouldn't care. Like, I wouldn't become like a fan. I'm just in a point of complete gray with the character, so I don't really care for him. But with Kawaki, I generally don't like him, right? Not as like
what you mean?
As a character, I think he's a great character for the story. Probably one of, if not the best character in the Boruto story. But I don't like him because of his decisions within the story. So that is the sole reason. I don't like the decisions he's making in the story. But pitting them two against each other, it's even craziest for me to say. Like, I would even, Kawaki in any, you can limit Kawaki probably 2 or 3 more times and take his defensive down as well. He's still probably fold no diff Konohamaru. I'm not gonna lie, probably.
Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, I get
it. It's tough out here.
Disrespect is running rampant between y'all two.
It's tough out here for the character. Hey, I wish he would do. The last time I was a solid Konohamaru fan, I remember I hopped on YouTube. I think after the the Jugo battle when he did that Rasengan versus Jugo.
He teed up. He turned up.
Teed up. I was like, okay, in the future he's about to show more of this, you know. And then it's quiet.
So out of 10, how likely do you think Konohamaru died in this chapter or next chapter, I should say?
Dies?
Well, he did get impaled. You didn't see that?
Yeah, he got stabbed all up in the back.
Yeah, Matsuri stabbed them all up.
You know what's crazy?
Hit him up.
Before I even answer that question, the crazy thing is, I was about to say I hope they do it to protect his legacy, but you can't kill Konohamaru off that nine. You can't.
If I say there wouldn't be a legacy,
that would, that's destroying his legacy. Like, you got to give him at least a W before you kill him. Like, when they killed Neji, it was like, all right. I mean, he's a legend. It was a bad death in my personal.
He was built. He was a legend. He dies a legend. You know, and then they did that just for Naruto and Hinata. They had to.
Yeah, for sure. But he died a legend. Where's Konohamaru if he dies now? Like, I don't know if people are going to consider him a legend. Like, he got to at least get a W. Like, he got to at least get a W before they kill him. So I'd say.
Sorry, I was just going to say this is the panel when he gets all poked up.
Konohamaru is in the runs with like Kiba for like the next Hokage. They both in their own like.
Damn, bro, this is bad.
You didn't see that? That's crazy.
Oh no, I seen it, but I just wanted the Kiba thing.
Okay, that's bad. All right, but now see, look right here on this panel. But see, under this type of circumstance, you see how Matsuri, she's obviously going to regenerate. Konohamaru is not at full power, which would be obvious from the wounds and stuff. If he somehow pulls out a win under these conditions against an opponent that can regenerate and has a rage amp because he just played her, you know, like tomorrow's Uno's game. So I would give him some credit where credit would be due. If he can win under these conditions by himself.
Can she instantly regenerate though? Then they have to go to like Jura's hideout or whatever to regenerate. Yeah.
That is actually a good question. We would have to see.
My thing is, I feel like likely Konohamaru is probably not going to beat Matsuri 1v1. If he does win, it'll probably be another situation where Matsuri falters again. And then he realizes, like, hey, this is the real thing.
At the very least, on his own, he can put her, like, on the defensive. You don't think?
Originally, coming into this, I thought there was no way Konohamaru could beat Matsuri 1v1. Even, like, when we take into account the nefarious stuff, I thought it was possible. Maybe he could, like, backstab her. Maybe he could do something like that. So, but if it's legitimately a one-on-one and they're both, like, actually raging against each other, I don't see him beating Matsuri. I'm sorry. I just can't see it. Again, I couldn't. If Gaara couldn't beat Matsuri 1v1, I can't see Konohamaru doing it. I'm sorry, I just can't.
Shit, 2v1.
Konohamaru was supposed to be that Naruto 2.0. You know, just
supposed to be one of the biggest things, and I feel like this could be like it could be like a bad mark against Konohamaru. We haven't seen a power up. Like, we didn't see a Sage mode. We didn't see a Kaioken. We didn't see a Super Saiyan. Like, nothing, bro.
Wow. But they can use that also to benefit.
Like, this is just regular base Konohamaru. I thought Konohamaru could have something in his background. And of course, if we call him the Naruto had everything. Like, he had multiple modes.
So with this bad credence to Konohamaru, if he's able to 1v1 Matsuri and come out with the dub, and he hasn't had any like significant power ups or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to give him credit for that. But I think coming into a battle like this, coming into Boruto, we thought Konohamaru should have had some sort of Sage mode. He didn't have that. Like, he didn't even use a summoning jutsu. And of course, you can make the argument that this situation right here didn't necessarily call for a summoning jutsu. But we think in a battle with Konohamaru, one of the only 1v1 straight up battles that Konohamaru is going to be involved in, we thought he'd pull out multiple stops. We didn't see him do anything in this battle, right? Except for Rasengan. But like, outside of that, it's like, I don't know, it's been nothing.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I can say though, like when we bring up the Gaara situation, trying to compare it to Konohamaru's situation, Gaara and Shinki, they went into the battle with no knowledge prior to them going into battle. Konohamaru went in with all types of intel before he even entered into this confrontation with him and Matsuri.
Facts. Got a whole plan.
No, yeah, that's true. I could understand that. And prep time is definitely a factor in Naruto. We see that from a lot of battles, especially that Obito versus Conan battle back in the day. So I get it. Maybe Konohamaru does have something up his sleeve. I just don't necessarily see it. And the fact that we didn't necessarily get to see too much like different modes, different special hacks abilities from Konohamaru, I thought that right there was like super like disappointed.
All this dude know how to do
strong,
is a
though.
Rasengan, bro. That's all.
He's pretty strong though. The fact that he's doing all of this without like modes, or that just means like his chakra and his durability is up to par. If they can at least keep on using the character like this and like he just summoned 2 giant Rasengans.
I'm not even sure if I can. The thing, here's going to be the tricky thing with this battle when it comes to power scaling. I'm not necessarily a Konohamaru hater. I'll say I'm disappointed in his character. I'll say I'm disappointed in his character.
Bro, the last 5 podcasts, this dude has been just bringing up Konohamaru not being qualified to be in Hokage.
Right.
Like my boy Aaron the plumber would say, you ain't qualified.
Right, pick on throwing out. Here's what Konohamaru hater would say. No matter what Konohamaru does in this battle, it doesn't matter. And you could possibly make that argument because of the whole entire context leading up to this. When people are in love, everything is essentially muddled.
Right.
Matsuri right now is arguably not fighting anywhere near what she was fighting at when she was going against Gaara.
Probably more focused, and she already had a goal in mind against Gaara.
Mm. But to me, because I'm not a Konohamaru hater, if he beats Matsuri, I'm going to give him super credit. I'm going to say he's up there with the Otsutsuki.
One thing that wasn't holding Matsuri back, though, is like with her and Konohamaru, she's in love with Konohamaru, rather as where you got Gaara and Shinki, she had no feelings for it, so it was easier for her to just take him out. Mm-hmm. So, but then you can say that Konohamaru was facing a deadlier battle than Gaara and Shinki, because now he has a Matsuri that's filled with rage, and spiteful woman is like your worst enemy.
It's a love rage amp right there. It's
hell yeah,
different breed.